5 reasons you are emotionally attached to that person and God wants it. You probably have this one person on your mind that you cannot get rid of or do not want to take off your mind. You feel yourself being drawn to them in ways you do not understand, and perhaps wonder why this is so. When people meet and relate over some time, bonds are made and connections are formed. Based on the time spent with them and other things, you might begin to have feelings for them, and once your emotions are involved, there is an attachment. Becoming attached to a person can be a good thing if it is not abused. God can engineer your attachment to a person because He has a purpose for your relationship. This is just one of the many reasons you might feel bonded to a particular person. Some of the other reasons include: you feel at ease with them. It is normal to want to spend more time with someone with whom you can relate freely. And the more you spend your time, the more you begin to connect with them. Somehow, we are always looking for kin spirit wherever we go. These are people who accept you just the way you are and make you feel important irrespective of what you do and what you have. They are like family to us. One reason for your attachment to that person might be the ease you have been with them, which makes you want to spend more time and associate with them because you are not under any pressure of any kind. You can be yourself around them, tell them things you would not tell anyone, and just do your thing without having to prove a point. You can tell that God is involved because He does not want us to pretend around anymore. He created every one of us specially and loves us that way, so He expects people to treat us in the same way too. They give you the attention and make you feel special. Attention is one of the basic needs of humans, and people tend to stay where their needs are met, especially at the stage of childhood. There is every tendency to be egocentric and want everyone or everything to be centered on you. Usually the only person that accommodates or attends to that need for attention is a mother. Hence, a strong bond is formed between mother and child, one that usually lasts a lifetime. As we grow into adulthood, this particular need does not disappear suddenly. We just learn to manage it, and rather than demand, we take it from whoever is willing to give it. Attention is something you give to someone or someone you value and cherish. In a world where social media has taken the place of real communication and sharing, it is quite rare to find people who make out time to be with you and listen truly. This is the reason many get attached to their phones. They search for attention and friendship from other sources since they cannot get it from their immediate environment. Even scammers use this method to get at their targets. They give undivided attention to these people, and once they have become emotionally attached, they begin to make demands and manipulate these individuals. God does not support this kind of manipulative love, but encourages a relationship where you get the necessary attention that you need. Our relationships with people should be a representation of what happens in our relationship with God. Whatever God does is the standard, and every other person should take their bearings from this reference. In a world of over 6 billion people, God still loves and cares for each of us individually. He listens to each one of us and attends to our personal needs. In essence, He makes us feel special, and we know He would always listen to us even when nobody else does. This is why most people have a spiritual connection with God, because they know they will always find a place in Him. In the same way, when we find someone who gives us time and attention, we tend to gravitate towards them. Naturally, there is every tendency to want to reciprocate the same, because they make you feel special. And who does not want to be in an environment where he or she feels loved? Besides, God wants the same for you. He wants you to be in a relationship with someone who makes you feel worthy and valued. This might just be another person you are emotionally attached to that person. They meet your needs one way or the other. We all have needs, whether physical, spiritual, or emotional. We need love, care, attention, encouragement, and a whole lot of things that are not necessarily financial or material. When someone cares for you, looks out for you, supports you, and encourages you, you will find yourself wanting to move closer and associate with that kind of person. This is the person you can turn to when you are down and look up to when you need encouragement, when life batters you and pushes you around. These kinds of people will be there to patch you up and pull you to your feet again, making life much more bearable. With these kinds of benefits you get from them, it is the most natural thing in the world to become attached to them emotionally, knowing you can always count on them to be there for you and meet your needs, whatever they are. Moreover, everyone has a soft spot and only a few people around them know it. Usually, someone that you become emotionally attached to is someone who knows your soft spot, knows what makes you tick, and knows how to calm you down when you feel otherwise. They are people who know you even more than you do yourself, or at least can help you become a better version of yourself. We all need some form of validation and acknowledgement at some point in our lives. Yes, even the best of men. Having someone who can do that speaks a lot to our heart and is most likely you. Respond by developing feelings or having strong emotions for them. You love and admire them. While it is possible to be emotionally attached to someone without being in love with them, particularly in the romantic sense, there is no way you can be in love with a person without some form of emotional connection with them. It is important to keep the relationship strong. However, it must be kept within healthy limits. We sometimes fall in love with people because we admire certain characteristics of them. It could be their physical stature, emotional strength, quick wit and humor, spirituality, kind heart, patience, or any other thing that fits our fancy. People have been found to have some kind of personal ideal of who or what they want in a partner, or they just merely admire certain things when they find someone that has these unique qualities. They cannot help but become attached to them. In loving a person, you spend time with them, communicate almost all the time, and give attention to them. Since your heart is already involved, there is no way you can keep your emotions out of it. As long as you do not cross the line and become too obsessed with that person. God approves of this kind of emotional attachment. God sometimes orchestrates this kind of relationship for a particular purpose. Take the instance, David and Jonathan. 1 Samuel 18:1 says, "When David had finished speaking to Saul, the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own life." In essence, Jonathan became emotionally attached to David and was willing to do things for him even at the expense of losing his position to the throne of his father, at the expense of his own life. You are constantly communicating with them. When you are in constant contact with a person, calling them day and night, texting and chatting them up, following their posts on social media, and always meeting with them, even without planning to, you find yourself beginning to get attached to them. When they are not around, you feel their absence and most likely have their thoughts occupy your mind. That is why it is usually advised that couples and people in a relationship ensure they are always in touch with each other for effective bonding and a successful relationship. The more you talk to a person, share your thoughts with them, and spend time with them, the more connected you become. You find yourself caring for them willy-nilly. You want to know what is going on in their lives and become concerned about their well-being in general. So it makes sense that you need to talk to someone probably after having a bad day or feeling distressed. That is the first person you think of. When you equally have things to celebrate, they will also be the first person you reach out to. Consistent and effective communication is one of the major reasons you might find yourself becoming attached to someone. As long as you do not become overly dependent on them or insecure in their absence, it is a good path to continue. Also, ensure you keep the relationship healthy and based on virtuous attributes. In essence, you do not just talk about irrelevant issues, but rather things that are engineered to improving your lives. You might find it difficult to understand your attraction or attachment to a person initially, but it could be any of these reasons discussed. More importantly, when God is involved, it means He has a purpose for allowing the attachment or desire. Just make sure not to cross the line between healthy attachment and obsession.